Welcome to the Main Character Podcast. I am your host, Brandon Hamblin, main character of my own story. But this podcast isn't about me. It's about you, and all of you. Every person that has ever lived on this planet, all 8 billion people here now, all that came before us, and all that will come hereafter are the main characters in their own story. My aim is to interview people that embody living in their energy and discovering from their perspective what their perception of reality is like. Buckle up. You're about to experience the world through another main character's eyes.
So are you trying to do one every week, or what's your cadence?
So let's see here. My first one, my wife went up to Banff. You ever been to Banff?
I haven't. It's on the list.
It's on the I didn't even know it was supposed to be on the list. And then she showed me pictures and I'm like, that is gorgeous.
Yeah, gotta go.
Gotta go. So she went up second week of January, and that's when I did my first recording. So I've been on roughly like a 1.5 episode cadence. This week, I have you today. I have an ex-coworker tomorrow. It's clicking again. What is that thing doing? Okay. I'm just trusting that's recording correctly. I know it's recording correctly. And then I have Terry from EBC Friday morning. Then I have Mike from EBC Friday after. So I'm going to get 4 episodes, potentially 4, probably 3, because I think my coworker's he's kicked it out on me every week for like the last 5 weeks. And then next week, we have 2 friends coming into town, and we're going to
get them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And okay. So more setup, and why I'm excited about each one of these is, have you listened to any of them, by the way?
I have not.
Okay.
No,
that's okay.
I kind of wanted to come into this like not knowing.
Well, and this is great because we haven't even done a one-on-one.
No, yeah.
We have done nothing.
We have spoken very few words.
I think I've shaken your hand and you did your presentation. And I thank you for your willingness to come on, and you don't know me from Adam, really. So there will be a blood sacrifice at the end of this, and usually it's my guest. So just in case you're wondering, kidding, kind of. So I like that you're coming in guns blazing, not knowing. That's fantastic. The whole setup with this thing is, I call it main character. And the lead into it, I tell everybody, 8 billion people on this planet, everybody has a cool, unique perspective on life. And so, good example. I was just talking to my dad. I was like, I got to go when you knocked. He talked to, I have 3 younger brothers. My dad and all 3 of my younger brothers are addicts. And for me growing up, it was nuclear family, mom, dad, my brothers, everything was great. Boy Scouts, church, sports, all the things. Of course, I had my stuff that I thought was, this is whatever this thing was. It's tough, right? I'm having a tough childhood. No, I mean, relatively, no. I had a very good childhood. My brother just below me, he was doing drugs with my mom and dad. As soon as I was out of the house, he was 16. My brother just younger than that, 7 years younger than me, he grew up in a totally broken home. My parents get divorced, all sorts of craziness. He ends up becoming an addict. My youngest brother, 15 years younger than me, he was bounced around between my mom, my dad, a couple aunts, me. He was a nomad growing up. So from the same family, all 4 of us have these crazy, unique experiences that have shaped how we see the world.
Totally.
But that's all of us. And so I feel like there's a lot of judgment in this world because, we have our perspective and then we go, well, that person's doing that thing wrong. Why are they doing it wrong? And then we judge them. And everybody does life because they've been shaped to do life that way. So why? What was your upbringing like? Why do you, what's your religious belief? Why do you think we're here? Where did we come from? Where are we going? Have you become successful in life? Anything and everything. That's what I like to explore. So when I emailed you back and I said, the subject is you, Wyatt. The subject is you, Wyatt. We're going to find out what makes you tick, and how you do life and how you view reality. So
that's fun.
So sit down, strap in, and off we go.
Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. So we can actually start wherever you want to start. Where you're at today, how you got, like, pick a subject and we'll go. What makes Wyatt Wyatt?
Well, I think a lot of the things that make me who I am today, as far as the research that I've done and a little bit of what everyone has told me is being a middle child.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm the middle child of 5.
Okay. It's dead center. You're number 3?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, there's a ton of truth to all the things that come along with being a middle child.
Right.
My 2 older siblings, I love all of my siblings, like all of them. They're all awesome. And my 2 older ones, I always wanted to be like them. And then my 2 younger ones, there was a little bit of an age gap, only like 3 years, I think, between me and the next youngest.
Yep.
But just that little bit of an age gap almost made like the older 2 cool and the younger 2 not cool.
Right.
And
the
then I'm
annoying
stuck
younger
in the
siblings.
middle, like I'm not quite old enough to do what they're doing. So I get stuck with the younger siblings. And
Right.
there's that weird like identity thing that you go through when you're like, yeah.
And what is all the age differences? So you have a sibling 3 years younger, and then what's the youngest?
5 years younger.
Okay. And then the
my
older 2?
brother is like a year and a half older, and then my sister's like 3 or 4 years older.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, you guys are still relatively close
Pretty
in age.
close, yeah.
You're going through high school with your older 2 siblings. You were a freshman. Oldest was a senior?
She had just, yeah, we were 4 years apart.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
At least
I was in
level.
8th grade. She was a senior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where did you grow up?
In Emmett, Idaho.
Where is Emmett?
It's like 40 minutes north of Boise.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yep. And if
farm town.
I've been to Boise, and when I fly in, I'm always like, "There's Boise," but then what's around it?
Yeah.
So I take it there's not a ton in Emmett. You said little farming.
No,
community?
we grew up. There's lots of fruit orchards.
Yeah.
A couple canals that we'd swim in, little swimming holes everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much to do other than run around with your friends and kind of get in trouble, you know?
Yeah. So now what's that version of getting in trouble?
It's just probably trying things that we shouldn't have at that age, or like, you know, sneaking out and playing fugitive.
Right.
You know, just kind of being little rascals, you know?
I think the worst things I did were smoke some pot. I got some beer from a guy I worked with that was like 20. I'm 16 washing cars. He's like 24, 25. It's like, you give me $25, I can get you some beer. And he got me a case of Pabst, which that couldn't have cost him more than $10. So he made out like a bandit.
Yeah.
And Pabst is piss water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see. I did those 2 things, and me and my buddies stole some road signs.
Oh, we did that too.
Do you still have any of them?
I don't.
No. Okay.
we ditched them at at one of our friends' house because his parents weren't very involved, and he's like, "Oh, we can just stick them behind our barn."
Oh yeah.
And we're like, "Great,
sure, yeah."
And then we were like on the news and stuff, like, road signs are going missing. We're like, okay, we're done.
I wonder who's doing that.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a stop sign? No, not stop sign. Stoplight.
Nope.
No, stop. Okay, all right. I'm just trying to paint the picture for Emmett.
No, just signs.
Yeah.
And there's one in particular. I'm probably, well, whatever. There was 2 of our friends that there was street names in the town that had their last names.
Oh yeah.
And so we're like, obviously we
You
gotta
have
get
to
those.
take those. Yeah.
But one of them, we couldn't get the road sign off the pole.
Yeah.
So we had to take the whole pole out of the ground.
Just throw it in the back of the truck. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So we had this stump of concrete hanging out of the bed of the truck, driving through town.
Concrete it all. That's
Yeah.
so good.
And we're like, oh my gosh, we're definitely getting busted.
They had to take, I think they either renamed or they had to take all the signs. No, they changed it. Highway 69 and Highway 420. They've had to switch to be like 420 and a half, 69 and a half. Cause right. It's
Makes sense.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's because of people like us that steal signs.
Yeah. for sure.
So, okay. So getting into trouble, hanging out with buddies, swimming in the canal. Oh man, that's always the best. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like we grew up kind of on a little hillside. Emmett's surrounded by a bunch of rolling hills.
Yeah.
And our house was tucked up right up against one. And we'd have our friends over all the time, and we would sled and snowboard down our hill.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we rarely got enough snow coverage to where we wouldn't be basically riding on rocks and dirt and stuff.
Right.
So just stuff like that, like putting ourselves in danger for a minor amount of fun.
Yep.
Because the nearest ski hill was about an hour and a half away, and when you have 5 kids, it's hard to take everyone.
Yeah.
So I totally get that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we just kind of made our own fun.
That's great. So then it sounds like, well, you were talking about middle child. So were those adventures mostly with buddies, or did that include some of your siblings?
It was both. My older brother and I were super close, and so I tended to hang out, I hung out a lot with his friends, and his friends, and he hung out with my friends a lot, or we'd like each have a couple friends over, and then we'd go do stuff together.
Yeah.
So that was super common. We hung out with my sister a little bit, but she
was old enough that
she was, and she was also like the big sis of 4 brothers and trying to set a good example.
The rest of you are boys.
So it was like we had to be careful what we told big sis.
Right.
Because she would go straight to mom and dad.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's birth order. That's very true. The oldest child ends up kind of becoming a pseudo parent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't get into too much trouble with the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So hanging out with those guys. And was that from birth till graduation?
Yeah, pretty much. You brought up smoking pot. I didn't get into that until like right after graduation.
Okay. Yeah.
Started smoking a little bit.
Yeah.
Had some beers at like house parties and stuff later in high school, but for the most part, I was like pretty straight student.
Pretty
like,
straight-laced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to stay out of trouble. I think it goes back to the middle child thing, like trying to avoid being in trouble because I see what my older siblings are doing that's getting them in trouble. And then I'm trying to like help take care of the little ones, and I'm just like caught in the middle.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get into a ton of trouble in high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
How were you as a student?
I was okay.
You were okay.
I graduated with honors. So my GPA in high school, I think, was 3.8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I only lasted 1 semester in college.
Oh yeah.
And
well, what was the plan? Where did you go? What were you going to do?
Well, everybody in high school, counselors, teachers, everyone was like, "Here, take this quiz, and it'll tell you what you're supposed to be in life."
Yeah.
And so everything was pointing towards engineering, or because I was good at math. So whatever good at math means for real world application, that's what they were telling me I should do.
Yeah.
And I get to college, and I had to retake like half of my schedule was filled with stuff that I just got an A in high school, but I have to take it again. I'm like, okay, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then the other half was like prerequisites for engineering, or I can't even remember what else I was doing, but mostly engineering. And I was just like, this is what you guys do every day? I'm not interested.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, my older brother was, he had just finished a year in door-to-door sales.
Oh, yeah.
And so my first year at college, he had just made like 70 grand or something knocking doors.
That's
like
good money.
One of the top reps in the company as his first year. And so he came back as a sophomore, like basically king of the town.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got the rental house, I got the, whatever, and paid off all of his student loan debt. And he's like, why don't you come and work with me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds great.
Of course.
So I went out for that next summer. I quit college, dropped out halfway through. And then I got my my student loan money for the second semester, and then dropped out.
Nice.
So I had a little bit of money to live on to like just chill and then prep for the summer for sales. And I did terrible at door-to-door sales.
Did you?
It's so it's brutal.
It is brutal.
It's a grind.
Yeah. Well,
And-
because you're getting a lot more no's than yeses.
Yeah. And as a kid,
yeah.
right out of high school, kind of with some identity crisis stuff, like I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. And I just came into that super prude to the world.
Oh, yeah.
Not, this uncultured farm town boy from middle of nowhere, Idaho, pretty much, and got shipped off to Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, you were in Nashville.
And home security doesn't,
Ooh.
you don't knock doors in the gated communities where affluent crowds are.
Right.
You're knocking in the hood.
Yeah, you are.
And you're a white boy in the hood.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
I got a lot of like, what are you doing in this neighborhood? And like, it's just a different world.
Yeah.
So
yes,
it
it
is.
is.
You're battling like being scared to death. And then you get the rainstorms that come in and just dump on you for like 30 minutes and then they're gone and it's sunny again.
Yes.
And if you're not in a house working on a deal, you're like trying to trespass and like find somewhere to like
a tree.
Yeah, a
Something.
tree, a patio, and people are like, "What are you doing on my patio?" I'm like, I'm just avoiding getting drenched right now.
Hi, do you want a home security system?
And I didn't drive out there either. So I didn't have a car out there. So people so like the team lead or car group leader or whatever is like dropping me off in the area.
Yeah, go canvass the neighborhood
at 2 p.m. and picking me up at
6, 7, 8.
Whenever it gets dark.
Yeah. Oh no.
So middle of summertime, it's like 10:30 before I'm getting picked up. And so, yeah.
Well,
and that's when like the street people come out and
it's muggy.
Yeah.
And you're getting mugged. Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
It's both. Oh, geez. Well, that's a bit of it because I've been down to Nashville a couple times. Actually, one of the pair of boots that I have in Nashville.
Cool.
And we almost moved to Chattanooga. That was summer of 22, so just a few years ago. And I loved it down there, but like it's culture shock. It's different. I mean, it is a completely different environment.
Yeah.
And so to see your brother, oh, $70,000, I'm going to go do that. And then, oh, this sucks. And I'm in a weird environment and I'm drenched and I'm done.
Yeah. And not to mention, I had like a month and a half of runway with my student loan money.
Yeah.
After my job started. So I'd burned up a little bit of it or most of it. And so I think we started in like April 15th.
Yeah.
So from April 15th and on, I had to like end of May.
Okay. For money.
Until money was going to dry up. So I had made like a couple little sales, but in the home security world, it's like one deal. And when you're working for a company like that, they deduct everything. So if you don't get like the perfect deal, which is maybe you're going to make like $600 in commissions.
Yep.
If you don't get the perfect deal, if you do any less terms or any less money down, anything like that, they just deduct. And so like my first few deals, I just had to like do what I had to do to get the deal. And it was like $150, $200. And so I'd get like a couple of those. And so I had like some money trickling in.
Right.
But it was just like
you're living on ramen at that point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, brutal. So well, and sometimes that's a good motivator, right? When you are up against a rock and a hard place, it's I gotta do this or I am in trouble. So how long did you last at it?
So I made it until about a month was left in the summertime, and then I transitioned into being an installer. A technician.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I did door to door for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And
that was enough like of a taste. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. You probably aged more than a year in those few months.
That honestly was one of the most profound experiences, even though it absolutely sucked.
Yeah.
I think it's been like one of the foundational pieces to what's gotten me to where I am today.
Yeah.
Which I still have a long ways to go. But just the ability to talk to people and not like be afraid.
Yeah.
It's huge. And like I told myself when I was done doing door to door, I was like, I'm never doing sales again. And then 10 years later, I'm starting, like 6-7 years later, I'm starting a construction company.
Yeah. Which, hey, by the way, that only works with sales. Yeah.
Yeah. and I didn't even realize that. So I'm starting this company, and my dad was feeding me some work down in the Boise area. He's like, I've got these houses. I've sold the product. I just need someone to install them. Do you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, that sounds great.
Sure.
And so I eventually quit my job and started just doing that. But then I moved up here.
Yeah.
And February of 2021, I moved up here. And I'm like, oh, I know nobody up here.
Nobody.
No one's just feeding me work.
Right.
So I have to go out and get it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, that's scary. I'm going to get a job for a few months because it's middle of winter. I'm going to just kind of scope out the area and maybe start my business back up in a year. Well, like 2 months later, my wife gets pregnant. And I'm like,
another rock and hard place. You gotta produce at that point. Yeah.
So I called my boss. I'm like, hey, I know I told you I'd give you a year before I started my company, but I either need $10 more an hour or I'm going back out on my own.
Yeah.
I've got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I can't pay you $10 more an hour. I'm like,
all right. Happy trails.
Adios.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So many questions in there. The first one is, you said that the door-to-door sales piece was profound. What would you equate those lessons to? What were the things you took away? How did it change your approach? What did it teach you?
I mean, a lot of things. To not be afraid of a no.
Mm-hmm.
To not really care what people thought about me. I mean, that it's huge because
it's not personal.
It's not.
Right.
They're just annoyed of the unexpected thing that happened to them. Maybe the doorbell woke up their baby or whatever. Like, there's some things that definitely are bothersome when someone knocks on your door.
Right.
And I get it. People knock on my door too. So, so overcoming that is being able to like build the muscle to overcome that is huge.
Yeah.
And then there's another thing I was going to say in there, but I would say that's like the main points.
Yeah.
Just like the grit.
The grit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up, my dad was in the car business. And so I always joke, I grew up in the back of a car dealership. And so I started washing. One of the things I loved that my dad did is he said, you cannot come work for me first. You can't be the owner's son. People are going to treat you different. You aren't going to figure out work ethic. You got to go work for somebody else. That was a great perspective from my dad. So I go work for the local car dealership and local Chevy dealership, actually. And they have me working in the parts and mechanics department. So I'm cleaning up after the mechanics, and those guys are messy. There's oil and coolant and all sorts of stuff. And then they clean that up with kitty litter. That's the word, kitty litter. And so I'm like sweeping and mopping and disposing of the oil, what are the filters? And just, I mean, it was nasty. I was always dirty. And I was the low man on the rung, low man on the totem pole, low man, whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
But taught me really good work ethic. And then when I did go work for my dad, I had a totally different perspective, and can't really change that you're the owner's son, but the way that I approach work and take it seriously had certainly been established. But then I went to go sell cars, and I'm 19. I'm freshly married. We're living in the basement of my grandparents' house, so my rent's like $200-300 a month, maybe, to cover utilities and some other stuff. We had some other like credit card debt and stuff, but like, right, we're not real worlding anything at this point. And so when I'm sitting down at a table and I'm like, yeah, you want this car? It's only a $650 a month payment. You can afford that, right? Well, no, we actually can't. Well, why not? You want the car, don't you? Right? Like, I don't have real world perspective to be able to empathize with these people. And so the crying baby, when you knock on somebody's door, well, as a parent, all of a sudden you go,
exactly.
Oh, I get it. That's why that was annoying.
Yeah.
Or you're just disrupting somebody's day. Or if they're grumpy with you and they slam the door in your face and say no, you can't take that personally. You have no idea what's going on in their world. You just interrupted it.
Yeah.
And that lesson of I'm sure when you have your own business, you care about the product, because ultimately at that point, it is you at some level that they're saying no to, but you believe in the product.
Yeah.
If you're selling door-to-door security systems, is it really the best on the market? Do you agree with the price? Do you like the management? Do you know what's going right? Like you have this battle inside of, I just need a paycheck.
Right.
Right. It's not, no, like really, if I come do this work for you, it's my stamp of approval. I'm doing the work. You can trust me. My name is on this thing. I'm going to do good work for you. Those feel like different products that you're selling as well.
Yeah. Well, and you just brought up another good point. I was the opposite. So, like our systems were only like $55 a month, and I was so broke that I thought that was a lot of money. I'm projecting the scarcity mindset onto these people, and I don't believe in it enough to where I can justify the $55 a month because I think that that's obnoxious for what they're getting.
Right.
So I had to overcome like, and it's not until like now I'm like, oh yeah, if someone owns a home, they can probably spend an extra $50 a month.
Right.
And yeah, so
that's
just
amazing.
having the real world experience of like, oh, if somebody actually owns a home, it's a 2-income household, whatever. Like,
right. They have valuables.
They can find a way.
And especially the demographics of the neighborhood. Is it going to be safe? Is there a lot of crime?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in a high crime area. You have a pretty nice TV over there. It's only $55 a month to protect that thing.
Yeah. You have 3 kids.
That perspective switches it up.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. And the scarcity mindset, man, that is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some 18-year-old kids coming and telling you, and you can just tell that they aren't confident in it because So yeah, it was just a lot of things.
Yeah. But those are the moments in our lives that really help shape the way that we do the rest of life.
Yeah.
And so I love that was a profound moment.
Yeah.
So you bounce from there, go to work for, you said back home working some of your dad's jobs, or that was years later.
Yeah. That was years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, after my first summer doing home security, I came back home, lived with my parents for about 1.5 years and got a great job and was able to save up money while I was living with them and bought my first house.
Oh, yeah.
Back when you could buy a house on $15 an hour in
2014. 2015? 14. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I bought my first house in 2012. It was nice to be the recipient of the low prices after 08.
Yeah.
08 was nasty. I was in banking at that point. And I remember talking to people about mortgage rates and all. I'm a baby teller. I have, again, no idea what I'm talking about. And then finally, a few years later, I buy my first house and I'm like, wow, $200,000. This is nice.
Yeah.
Why are people complaining about the housing market? Well, because that house was $400,000 in 08 when it crashed and the person had to give it back to the bank. So yeah, it was
I bought mine for $89,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. On 1/3 of an acre.
Oh,
2 bed,
my
1 bath, 2-car garage.
Gosh. In Emmett?
No, in Nampa.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, which has grown like crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that same house now is $350, $400.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
You kind of wish, I take it you sold it, took the equity, bought the next house.
I sold it for like $120.
Okay, so at the time you were like, made some good money on this?
Yeah.
This is great. But now, right, that's another perspective thing. If I could have held on to that house, rented it out, oh man. Yeah. We live and we learn.
Yep. So then, I did fire sprinklers for 2 years.
Okay.
While I
install.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I came on as an engineer, so I was designing systems, and then I just got bored of that, sitting at a desk, never really could figure it out, and was always getting like revisions from my boss, and I'm like, this sucks.
I'm out.
So I grew up in the flooring business, and I just had like that work ethic, doing sports and everything. So I was like, man, I think I want to go in the field.
Yeah.
And so I went in the field and became, I was only like the second guy that company had hired. It was like another branch from a big California company. The owner retired and moved to the Boise area and brought his, one of his lead guys with him to start up a second business out there.
Yeah.
And, I was like one of their first hires.
Cool.
And so it was awesome. And Anthony Minicello was my manager, and he's like one of the main reasons why I've been able to just go out and get it today. Because when I was sitting at that desk in the office right next to him doing my designs, he was constantly on the phone and going out and about, shaking hands and knocking on doors with general contractors. And he's built it into See, that was 2014. So yeah, in 10 years, it went from, I think we did 80,000 that first year.
Oh yeah.
And I think they're doing like 7 or 8 million this year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I watched the very beginning of that. And so I know what it
So
takes.
you got a master class in, okay, startup. This is how this goes.
And he had one-on-one coaching with the owner that did the same thing, built this huge company in California.
Yeah.
And did the same thing there. And he was just getting, this is the roadmap of how you do that.
Yep.
In Boise.
Relationships, work ethic. Yeah. What other lessons did you learn from them at that point?
Just staying persistent. Like that dude would get no's all the time. And this is after my door-to-door sales job. So I'm just like, man, this guy just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like he would tell me, oh, this guy laughed me out of his office, but I'm going back there next week. And he just stayed persistent like crazy. So
and at that point, it almost becomes a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you like lose the care of what someone else thinks about you, everything goes away.
Yeah.
And you can, it unshackles you.
Oh, I love that you use that word. That is so we have a business mentor, family friend, business guru. He does mastermind classes and seminars across. I mean, he is unbelievable. Just talked to him and his dear wife for over 2 hours yesterday. And he wrote a book that he released 4 or 5 months ago called Unshackled.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I love that you use that term because that is what that feeling is. That is exactly what it is.
Yeah. So when I was starting my company up here, I was like, every day that I needed to go network and business development activities, that's still like not my strong suit.
Okay.
And so that's why I hired Garrett, and Garrett from EBC.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted someone to fill that role and do that full time, because I know that that's like the highest or biggest lever you can pull for a small business, a small locally owned blue collar business. It's about the relationships. So just finding someone that can do that full time is huge. But in the early days, it was all me, right?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, every day that I needed to do those tasks, I would think in the back of my mind, Anthony did it. And then I'd just go out and do it.
Yeah. I think that's another important point is until you see somebody model it, how do you know?
Yeah.
And so if you just see if you don't have anybody teaching you, or the person that's teaching you has a bad attitude or is unsuccessful, then that's what you get in your head is, oh, this doesn't work, or whatever it is. But you had this cool role model that went out and did it and at least made it sound fun in the way that you're just describing it, and just had the unshackled approach and just went after it. And I love that that's the mantra you had in your head is Anthony did it. Anthony did it. Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
So how long were you with them?
Like 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. And I left them because my brother was like, dude, because he was still with the home security company.
Oh,
he's like, dude,
still doing 70 plus a year.
More than that.
Yeah. Okay. He found his jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sales. Yeah. And he still does that. He's still in the like sale, like door to door business, but B2B now.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Still in the I take it. Was he in the Nashville area when you were doing that? Where did they ship him off to?
Yeah. Well, we went to a different summer every year.
Oh, different. Okay.
Yeah.
So where's he at now? I know this is a weird.
He's settled down in Seattle.
Oh.
Yeah. He's doing. He works for a big company that sells like forklifts and
cool.
little utility vehicles for campuses and yeah.
Nice. But he's still nearby. That's good. You don't have to fly across the country to go see your brother.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Sorry for that. I just all these. I'm like, if I don't ask this question now, I'm never going to remember, and I'm curious. So he calls you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's like, dude, we really need a good installer for our team this summer. I'm like, okay. Like, well, that 1 month that you did it like 2.5 years ago, you were really good, and we want to bring you on as an install tech. I'm like, okay. And they start going over the comp plans and whatnot with me. And I'm like, man, this means I have to like give up the house I just bought and move to a different location, but I get to hang out with my brother.
Yeah. And are you married at this point?
No,
No. Okay.
no,
That's coming.
single. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I don't really see a path for like exponential growth with the company I'm at right now. So I'm going to take the leap of faith and like go down this alarm path.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I rented out my house, and I can't remember where we went that summer. I think it was Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. It was Louisville. And so we went there for that summer, had an awesome summer, made quite a bit of money, not a ton, just more than I was making before.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Phoenix to live with my brother that winter. Yeah, I think I'm getting everything right.
There will be a test at the end.
Yeah. I'll have a friend or something that's like, no, you didn't do that.
And the same brother?
Same brother. Yeah.
Same brother. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So anyways, I did that, worked like 3 summers for that company. And then my brother and I went out on our own. So we started a home security company.
Yeah.
And that lasted about a year.
Okay.
9 months to a year. Somewhere in there. And,
sounds like something happened.
Just when sales reps have a team to sell and like motivate each other.
Right. There's energy
that's when
there.
The magic happens.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
There's
magic.
competition and everything.
Yeah.
Well, my brother didn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And then I'm like the nerdy tech that's like, come on, dude. We're not making any money.
Go get those
don't
sales.
Get
I need to install some stuff.
Yeah. So
we both need bread.
it was, and to add to it, we bought an RV and we're living in campgrounds and living in the RV. And like never got a break from each other.
I was going to say, that's pretty close quarters.
Yeah. And we had to,
why is your underwear still in the bathroom, bro?
Yeah. It was laundromats and it had to move every 2 weeks.
Oh, man.
It was just like, it was chaotic.
Yeah.
And so on top of all the chaos, he was having to be like the lead driver in sales.
Yeah.
And so he had a lot of pressure on him, and he was going through a breakup. So there's just a lot of stuff that I didn't have enough grace for him when we were going through it at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've moved on. We have a great relationship now.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's never always sunshine and roses and puppies. Right. I mean, that's not the way that relationships work. And when the going gets tough, it's easy for, battles to break out and all that fun jazz.
Yeah. Young and don't know how to go through stuff like that together. And we had a lot on the line. So we had hired a couple sales reps that we moved out to the area with us. And then we moved from California to Salt Lake. And lived there for a few months and tried to get it going again there. And then ultimately it was just like, this isn't working out.
Right.
So I need to make money, and I'm not making money here, and no one's making money. No one's happy. So we just closed it down. And luckily we didn't have like a ton of baggage.
Yeah.
There was definitely some financial stuff that we had to take care of, but I'd say like maybe a year later, everything was pretty much behind us.
Yeah.
Year and a half. So
cool.
Yeah. And then at that point, I moved back in with my girlfriend at the time. Wife now.
Ah, yes. Nice.
And she was living in Boise. And so it was just 4 hours.
Were you long distancing that entire time?
Oh, yeah, for like a year and a half.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll come back on that because I'm very curious about your wife.
Okay.
But yeah, so
moved in with her.
Yeah.
She was renting a condo in Boise from her brother, and right in the north end. So I could get home from work and ride my mountain bike up the Boise foothills.
Oh, cool.
And Bogus Basin was like 35 minutes away. So, and then we could walk to downtown. It was a perfect location.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years after that, we had the opportunity to buy my wife's in-laws place.
Oh, cool.
My wife's
your in-laws.
grandparents' place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. Got it.
Up here.
Oh, up here.
Yeah.
So that's what
so like COVID happened, and Boise
all the craziness.
was crazy down in, it was crazy during COVID. And because we lived in downtown, like the way that we had to come home was right by the Capitol. And so it was like every other day there's a protest or something going on. We're just like, we're so tired of this.
Yeah. Big city problems.
And then I was looking into like all the migration and stuff, and a lot of people were coming here. I'm like,
Coeur d'Alene is growing
for
like
construction.
Crazy.
So I'm like, I don't really want to like start a business down here and then move in 5 years. So let's just move.
Yeah.
Like, we have this opportunity. Let's jump on it.
Yeah. Cool. So that gets us to, you moved up here August of what did you say?
February of 21.
February of 21.
And then restarted the business in May.
Cool. And so it's flooring.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the business, how it's grown, where it's at.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna circle back on all sorts of different points.
Yeah. Okay. The company's called Watts Built. We specialize in flooring and finished carpentry.
Yep.
And we do some cabinet installs, but mostly flooring and finished carpentry.
And it started with you. Anybody else?
Just
at the
me.
beginning?
Just me. Yeah.
So you're doing it all: install, sales, bookkeeping,
everything,
advertising.
Yeah.
All the things
for about a year, and then I started bringing in a bookkeeper, and then a payroll person, and then hired a guy to help me in the field, which is actually a really good friend from high school. That's now my brother-in-law.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And now he's on his own, and we subcontract him for some of our stuff.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
Cool. How many employees do you have now?
We have 2 in the field right now.
2 in the field.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're a little slim. Last year we had like 6 in the field. We're down to 2. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and that's part of that's trying to find the right balance, and you want enough so that when the work comes in, you can get on the work quickly.
Yeah.
But not enough that guys are just sitting on the sidelines. Like
it's a hard balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I would imagine, a lot of that's indoors, but there is seasonality anyways.
Definitely. Yeah. Just the nature of like the direct to consumer stuff. People don't want to buy. Most people, or a lot of people, they're just like burnt out and spending through the holidays.
Yeah.
And then it's tax time. And so there's just and then this year was particularly interesting with the elections.
Yep. Everybody
so
kind of
like
on the sideline
pause,
waiting.
Yeah. The sideline stuff happened way sooner than before.
Yeah.
We had we usually get like 8 to 10 leads a week.
Okay.
And during November, it was like 2.
Oh,
like
yeah.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening right now?
Can we please have the election like right now? I'd like some jobs, please. Yeah. Okay. So I'm always curious because, I do business lending. And so I work with people that have been in business for decades, and others that most banks, they don't want to touch anything if it's 2 years or less that they've been in business, because I can't remember the exact stats, but most businesses fail in the first year. And then within the first 3 years, the majority of the ones that did make it, those ones fail. And then by 5 years, you've weeded down to the single digits and percentages of people who make it.
Yeah, it's wild.
And so it says something about the quality of your work ethic, the timing in the market, all of that stuff to be successful. What was that first year like? How did you get business? How did you get your name out there? What were your key? What worked? What didn't work?
The first year was summer of COVID.
Oh, geez.
2020.
Yeah.
And I just saw the need for people that needed, they had family moving back in with them, and they needed more space in their house or around their house. And so at that time, you could still post, you could still do like advertising for services on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
They've since taken that down, but
good old Facebook, always changing their stuff every 2 seconds. Yeah.
It was a gold mine.
Yeah.
So I had a finished carpentry job at the time, and I was like, you know what? I want to make more money, and I have the skill set. So I'm going to post and like build sheds for people.
Oh, cool.
And so I made an ad and said, I'll build sheds, whether it's an outbuilding for an office or whatever. I ended up building, like, one of the sheds I built was for firewood. Another one was for a bedroom for somebody because they needed extra space, and everyone moved back in with them, and they're like, we're
on top of each other. We need something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like everyone had a specific need, and I was able to keep my job, and I was working weekends and evenings building sheds.
Jeez.
All summer
So you
long.
didn't sleep?
I slept, but I didn't have much fun.
No. Yeah, no.
So, let's see.
Well,
Yeah,
but
so
that's,
that was
that's the grind. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole first summer was that. And then like in the fall time is when I started picking up work from my dad.
Yep.
And then we moved in the wintertime. So
cool.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it did. Yeah. Cause there's so many different, to your point with Anthony, right? Going out, shaking hands, making friends with contractors, going to chamber events, joining networking groups. What's the right strategy on social media, direct mail, knocking on doors. There's so many different ways to get yourself out there.
Yeah.
That I'm always kind of curious what avenue works for some people and which ones don't for others. And again, right, timing is a hell of a thing. COVID was cool because you had people getting extra money from the government in some cases, or they were forced into a situation because now people are living on top of each other and I need space. Facebook Marketplace just so happened to still allow that thing, right? So like, what are the perfect storm elements that made it work there? And then obviously those aren't the same pieces that are making it work today. So what does it look like now?
Yeah. Today it just looks a little different because of the market, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny because like the relationships that I've built up here, even though I have a sales guy now, people that I've built that relationship with, they still want to talk to me.
Of course.
which is fine.
Because it's relational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I don't do quotes anymore. Here's Garrett's name, but I try to be as personal as I can and string it along and whatever, and then pass it off towards the end. But yeah. So another thing that's kind of helping is the break room. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I've heard of it. And I think you even gave me a code for it, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. So I started that with a couple guys about a year ago.
Okay.
And it was founded to be a contractor co-working space.
Oh, cool.
To give the small guy a home to, pop in before and after work,
rub elbows,
get some estimates done before you go home.
Yeah.
And have a wife and kids to attend to. So just kind of that like pit stop place.
Cool.
To give people, and for networking opportunities.
Yeah.
Too. So recently we've, so we built out a small showroom corner inside of the break room, so that we could get vendors in there and contractors could sell products.
Yeah.
Well, that idea has recently become more alive than ever, because in the beginning stages of the break room, we were so focused on getting members, getting the offices filled so we could cover our expenses. And the whole showroom thing went on the wayside because I wasn't aware of like margins and how that was all going to work. I saw money generation in members.
Yeah.
So we finally got to like break even. And in November, I got some vendors in there for the showroom aspect. And December was like January were like our first months, like really pushing the product. And that has helped a bunch with funneling leads into lots because we're able to, we have amazing pricing on the product. And so we're able to offer a great discount on the product. And then obviously we're going to do the install.
Right.
So it's been kind of a referral network kind of thing that we've built.
Now, is the break room next to Coach Anita's? Is that what that is? Okay. So I've technically been there multiple times because I'm a Coach Anita's addict.
Yeah.
When I came over here, I was working downtown Spokane and they have a location down there. And it was like kitty corner for my office. So I was always going in there. And then they announced the Hayden location. I'm like, wait, you're telling me that I get to go there for lunch and dinner every day?
Right.
I'm going to turn into a taco. Okay, that's great.
At least it'll be a good taco.
It'll be a good taco. Well, and the owner's there. I love Justin.
Yeah.
And Adrian, actually, he's the reason I found my tattoo artist on that guy.
Oh, nice.
He's a kick in the pants. But good.
Yeah, they'll deliver to our office.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They've got a button in their system that says like deliver to the break room.
That's so good.
Yes.
Okay, well that's cool because I knew that you were there, but I didn't know what that's like. I just thought it was like just a showroom, so I didn't know it was a hey contract. Let's people within the industry come do those bids, rub elbows, here's space to show off your the showroom. That's cool.
Yeah, and we haven't like officially announced it yet, so here's the announcement.
Okay, yeah. Hey, officially on Main Character Podcast. Yeah.
So we actually just DBA'd, and we're now just called the showroom.
Oh, cool.
We just haven't changed the signage yet.
Cool.
But yeah, we have a couple sales reps starting in the next couple weeks that are primarily focused on going out and getting contractors.
Yeah.
So specialty trades, GCs, anyone that's selling product or doing installs for customers. We're setting up the vendor deals, and then we're giving them pretty much a membership.
Yeah.
So they can use our space.
Cool.
And we're going to do a light remodel in there and section off the front part and make that the showroom piece, and then do like a hidden door. To get to the back.
Cool.
So it'll be like a speakeasy.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, because when you said that, I originally thought, because there is a speakeasy like secret behind a bookshelf downtown.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, man, that is so cool. It's got to be something cool like that. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So it'll be cool because so it's going to be like a white labeled showroom.
Cool.
So the contractor can become a member for no money down, and then basically what they get to do is go on an app, schedule the showroom appointment time, and then bring their client there. It's going to feel like it's their showroom, not our showroom.
Right.
So they'll do the sales appointment, and everything is going to make it seem like they've got their crap together.
Yeah.
And it's their showroom.
But they don't have to worry about actually maintaining. I mean, they need to keep the space nice.
Yeah.
But they don't have to do all that other stuff. That is so cool.
Yeah. And so because we're doing a model like that, vendors they see the value in,
of course,
order volume potential.
Yeah.
And so they're giving us amazing pricing on that just a GC that's setting up their own showroom isn't going to get if they're building 2 houses a year.
Right.
So because we have that volume potential, we're getting the best pricing, and we're putting just a fixed markup on it so we can cover our overhead and everything.
Yep.
And pay the sales rep that brought them in, etc. But even still, we're getting pricing to the contractor like 15 to 30% cheaper than they would get going to a big box store.
Wow.
Same product.
That's amazing.
So they're able to make money on it.
Yeah.
Or they can just discount it and get the job because they, were able to get the deal because they discounted the product and sell the customer.
Cool.
Yeah.
That is such had you seen that model done before? I mean, what was the brainchild behind that? That's brilliant.
Never heard of it.
Oh, look at that. You need to like patent that idea or something. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really, really, man, now next time I go to Cochinitos, I'm swinging by.
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
I'm there most of the time. I'm in meetings in and out all day. But if I'm not readily available, just check out the space.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. I love that. So then what do you foresee? What does 2 years from now, 5 years from now look like?
Well, the cost to set up another location is very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad is still in the flooring business down in the Boise area, and he wants to mimic the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to expand to Boise. That'll be like our second location.
Yeah, but first expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then possibly put one in Seattle or
I hear your brother's doing some B2B,
area.
But maybe he could do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my brother's actually an investor in the break room.
Cool.
He was like a hard money lender to get it going.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, this is great. I want one in Seattle so I can just manage it over here. I'm like,
well, and then and then you just go from there. That's a brilliant model. Cool.
Yeah. And what's crazy is the sales reps that we're hiring, they're not transactional. They're just getting contractors in there, and then the contractor is selling the product.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of a broker, I guess.
Yeah.
Getting, an awareness person, getting people in there.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it feels like in the inland Northwest, there is, I don't know if an overabundance is the right word, but there's a lot of GCs, subs. There's a lot of people in the construction field.
Yeah.
And so, and the inland Northwest is so relational driven. Like I tell people this all the time. When you're over on the west side in the Seattle area, it's 5 degrees of separation. People do business with anybody. It's like you don't have to know them.
Yeah.
Right. But here, if you didn't grow up here, if you don't have a relationship already, if you don't go to church with them, if there isn't some built-in trust and knowing of that person, good luck, because they know somebody.
Yeah.
And so when you can gather those people together and have them utilize that space and just get to know each other, it becomes it is networking. It is forming relationships. It's all those things that are exactly perfect. It's perfect for this type of market, but it will work in other markets because it is a good way of doing business.
Yeah.
And
it'll allow, so we're going to have like a screening process to onboard contractors because we don't want just
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's going to be funny is when there's like 2 flooring contractors bidding on the same project.
Right. And they bring the client to the same location. Yeah. I was just here.
Right. Yeah.
That's great.
But who cares?
It'll be whoever takes them out to lunch afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's how you seal the deal.
Yeah.
Let me get you some guac.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. That's so cool. Okay. Before I totally switch topics, anything else on the business side that we should know about what makes Wyatt?
Just started another venture.
Oh, okay. Yes. What's this?
I won't go too far into it, but I partnered up with another gal and we're building a business that is like a process-based business.
Okay.
And it's focused on contractors, and we come in and help build out all of your SOPs and help you with your marketing strategy and then your finance side of things.
Cool.
So it's kind of like you focus on what you're good at, which is building things, and we'll focus on everything else for you.
Yeah, because most people get into business because they're good at whatever that product is, that thing. The bookkeeping, the SOPs, all the other crap. I mean, who isn't outsourcing that in some way, shape, or form, or pulling their hair out and hating everything about it?
That's most people, yeah.
That's most people, yeah.
So we've seen a huge need in our own companies, and then also everybody that we talk to.
Yeah.
We know a lot of people that are just hitting that like $1 to $2 million a year ceiling on their business because they don't have the systems in place to be able to hire efficiently and get the most productivity out of those people,
right,
be able to make it worth it and scale.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of that for them for a fraction of what it would cost for them to build that out inside of their own business.
Yeah.
So we're scaling the team for them, and their price stays the same.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
going to integrate perfectly with the showroom because it's the same contractor clients.
Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Well, and when you have a client, how can you capture more of their business? And there it is. It's a great way to do it.
Yep.
We always say in the banking world that, right. Well, and I mean, it's not just the banking world, it's everything. When you have the customer in your space in the office, that's the best time to make a sale, right? As soon as they leave, good luck. You never know if they're coming back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you already have that relationship, that's the time to make sure you can capture more of that business.
Yep.
Cool. And it just makes them sticky in all sorts of other ways. I love that. Well, that's very cool. It'll be exciting to hear more about how that progresses.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious, before we do jump ship on the business aspect, if you could encapsulate what you enjoy about that, because you've done a lot of different things. I mean, same area more or less, but you've touched a lot of different things in your career, in your working career, to get to where you're at today. And you've kind of found the things that make it work for you. What do you enjoy about what you do? What's the Wyatt flavor that
I like building?
You like building?
Yeah, I like the build process of like improving a little bit every day.
Yeah.
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 And lately that's meant like, because we opened the break room about a year ago, May of 24, and that has really opened up a Pandora's box of like, I have an office now, I have a conference room now, I have a place to meet with people.
Yeah.
And before it was just clunky, like coffee shops and this and that. Like there wasn't a good way to just like do business all the time.
Right.
And so now it's just like my days are booked with with business meetings,
Yeah.
and we're just getting shit done.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's fun.
That is cool. Well, and do you still get out in the field?
No.
No. Oh, okay. All right. Are you glad that you don't get into the field?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm talking to one of my clients. He does metal fabrication, and like he just gave me his history, and from like building cool like heaters on the back of a snowmobile so that you could like be heating up soup and other food, which he had a cool name for it, to making gates for estates, or he's in the middle of developing up some non-owner occupied properties, and he does it all. So he's developing the land, getting the utilities in there, and then I think he subs out like maybe the foundation and some of the other stuff, but like he loves getting his hands dirty, and he goes, I love starting businesses. I love all this other stuff. I'm good with the relationships, but if I don't get in the field sometimes, I go crazy. But you don't miss the field.
I don't.
Yeah.
No. I love carpentry.
Yeah.
It's like I do love math. I do love like the finer details of things.
Yeah.
But for like where I want to go in life and my goals and aspirations, I just know that doing that isn't going to get me there anymore.
Right.
It was a great stepping stone to
of course
where I'm going, but
and it gives you perspective.
Yeah. And guys still come to me all the time for like, what would you do here? What did you do there? So I need to document all that.
Yeah.
All the what ifs, do this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you are good at building and growing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. And refining those processes. And with break room going out all over the place, and is that, you said the places that you want to go, is that owning multiple businesses and managing? Is that a dollar threshold? Is that what's your next marker for I'm going to feel successful when?
It's hard to put like a line on that or like a number on that.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you hit that? Do you quit?
Right.
Or do you keep going? Like what do you just set it twice as far?
Right.
So, there's a number in mind, but the goal that's not the number is we want to own a service-based business in all the niche industries like electrical, plumbing, HVAC. So own a service-based business in all of the blue-collar industries that feed each other business.
Brilliant. That's cool.
Just in the North Idaho, Spokane area.
Yeah.
The original thought was to franchise the flooring business into different markets. But that would require a lot of travel, a lot of time away from family.
Yep.
So it's now we want to create as big of a portfolio as we can and just have a holding company that owns a bunch of independent,
self-reinforcing, referring.
Yeah.
Businesses.
And we want to buy and scale instead of start all of those.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once we have all these systems in place with Apex, which is the business solutions company.
Yeah.
It'll just be like clockwork.
It's plug and play.
Come in because everything is the same on the back end.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and it's way easier to buy that foundation, that shell that's already there, and then fill it out from there. Then
like, do you know Alex Hormozy?
Of course.
Okay. So he says, people are always saying, oh, you should love what you do and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's all like, once you get to a certain point, it's all the same stuff.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Whether you're selling peanut butter or finished carpentry, like at the end of the day, if you get to the certain point, which you should all be striving to be the business owner, not the technician.
Right.
You're looking at numbers, you're meeting about things like that's like what you should be striving for, is get into that position where you're making the higher level decisions. And everything's the same at that point.
Yeah. Well, because fundamentally people are people. Right.
And business is business.
And business is business.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring in Alex Hormozy, because when you were talking about the no's, one of my favorite Alex Hormozy quotes is, "You're only 99 no's away from a yes." I'm like,
yes.
Okay. All right. If I got to get 100 of these in, there's a yes waiting at the end, but I got to get the grind through those no's first. That's the price you have to pay to get the yes. Okay. All right, Alex, fine. I'll do it.
Are you in sales?
Well, we all are, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Good answer.
Yeah. Yes. It's just right. And that's what I think is funny because, right, the answer is yes. Whether it's relationships, whether it's your spouse, your children, the product that you're selling, the business that you have, no, I'm in service. I mean, the thing that you're doing is probably service, but you're still in sales.
How big of a tip do you want?
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And so, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Grant Cardone says sell or be sold. So
yes.
Pick a side.
Yeah. So I take it. Okay. So you've just thrown out two really good names. Do you read?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What does that look like?
Okay. So I go through two different phases in life.
Yeah.
One is the consumption phase, and then one is the implementation
Yep.
phase. And when I'm implementing, I'm not consuming. I'm just focused on implementing.
Yeah.
And I went through a long consumption phase of
Oh yeah.
like a book every week
Oh yeah.
for a long time.
And are you a paper reader or
Audiobook.
Audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Totally. So yeah, I listen to books not as much as I would like to anymore, but I'm doing so much implementation and I live 4 minutes from my office, so I don't really get the drive time, and I'm not in the field anymore driving all over. So
Right.
it's like right now I'm in a heavy implementation phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Well, and it's a lot different being at your desk working through things, trying to listen to something because you can't
Oh,
your
yeah.
brain just doesn't, it can't.
I can have like piano music on in the background,
Right.
but that's about it.
But
Yeah.
when you're installing, you could probably listen to a book, right?
Yeah.
Like those are two. If
Yeah,
I'm
you
at the
can zone
gym,
out, yeah.
I can listen to something, right? I'm mindless at that point, basically. Or if I'm driving, but yeah, when you're at it, you're implementing. It's hard to take in new information.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite quotes are leaders are readers.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is, and I'm going to screw this up, you will be the same person you are today 5 years from now, except for the books you read, the people you meet, and the challenges you take on.
Mm.
And so, right, like reading, well, and that's kind of why I do this podcast, right? Exposure is a hell of a drug. And the more knowledge that you can take in from other people, instead of you having to touch the stove and learn that lesson yourself, the faster you can implement and upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed kind of a wave of books that have come out recently that is basically a big sales pitch to buy their program.
Yeah.
And once I figure out where the book is leading, like I'm on to the next one.
Right. Yeah.
Like don't just flirt around with all the real stuff.
Right.
And tease for the program that you want to sell online. Yeah. It's like, come on.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Just give me the
give me the gold nuggets. I already bought your book. I'm investing time in you. If you give me the gold up front, and if you have something after that, I'm probably more likely to buy that than if you just, I have this secret and here's a piece, here's a thing. But really you got to come to my thing, or you got to sign up for my membership, or you got to, it's always the next sell. Yeah. Yeah. Which there's a lesson in that too.
Sure.
Right. Like
maybe there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like how to win friends and influence people, right? Like that gives you all the gold up front. And there's a reason why that is one of the most popular, most best-selling books ever. And it's because it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites. Have you ever read The Science of Getting Rich?
No.
Super short. It's like maybe an hour and a half audible listen. And it's funny because he says, I'm going to lay out exactly what you need to do. And he does, but it's almost ethereal. And it's one of my favorite books. So highly recommend The Science of Getting Rich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list.
Is so
it's
long.
a bajillion miles long. Yeah. But yeah, I interrupted you. You were going to say a book or a lesson or a saying or a something. You had something. Maybe
I don't
not.
remember.
Okay. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have interrupted. Yeah, books are great. Okay. So let's go there, because I still want to ask about your wife, relationships, and like spiritual side of things, all that sort of stuff. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, because we've done all the business stuff, and you mentioned the summer getting started. You were busy. No fun. No time for fun. What do you like to do for fun?
So recently, so I bought my first season pass to Silver Mountain
Ah, yeah.
this
Okay.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I bought one for myself and my daughter.
Yeah.
She's 3. So that takes a lot of patience, but it's fun to just get out there. It gives us something to do.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laying a good foundation for her too.
Yeah.
Said 3?
Yeah.
3. Yeah. When's her birthday?
December 13th.
Oh, she just turned 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's young.
Yeah.
But she's an animal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Is she fun on the mountain?
Yeah. She likes to play in the snow more than
Of course.
snowboard. But
Yeah.
she'll get like 2 runs in on the bunny hill.
That's good.
And then it's playing in the snow and hanging out with mom while I go get some laps in.
Yeah.
on
And
the
are you a
cool
boarder or a skier?
snowboard?
Snowboard. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. And then,
And it sounds like it's been a good season.
yeah, until this week.
Well, yeah, we finally got some nice sunny weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice for some people.
For some of us. Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
Silver Mountain posted like a week or so ago. They're like, just don't bother coming up here.
Oh, no.
It's pouring rain and conditions are bad. So
yeah.
hopefully we get it for me. We get another good freeze and snow in the mountains at least. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I will be thinking. Man, it's cold out here, but I'm really happy for Wyatt.
I'm rooting for Wyatt.
Yeah.
But other than that, we just kind of started getting into rock climbing.
Oh, cool.
So we've been going to core climbing. We've only gone twice.
Yeah.
But my kid is just like
An animal.
Oh,
is
my
that
gosh,
what? Yeah. Yeah.
She just loves it. So
Yeah.
she's
there's
always been a climber.
There's a spot. What is that? Oh, shoot. There's a park in Post Falls right there by the river. But it's got some really good.
Oh, like outdoor climbing?
Yeah. Outdoor
I've heard
climbing.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got all they aren't called hooks, anchors, whatever they are, in there. So it's a pretty safe, good setup. But I mean,
Cool.
obviously indoors a little bit more controlled for a 3-year-old. And the Croc's good. Have you been to the Croc?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we went there once and then core climbing twice.
Cool.
Like in the past week.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you a good climber?
I'm not that great. No.
Oh.
I've been out of the field for like a year and a half,
Yeah,
and my forearms are just like.
Oh, yeah.
not in
Well,
good
that
shape
grip
anymore.
strength is a legit thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They say that's like one of the biggest tests or like
Indicators
predictors
for
of
longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it kind of scares me.
I know.
Becker trains me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so what do I need to do for my biceps? Pull-ups. What about my shoulders? Pull-ups. And my chest? Pull-ups. And I'm okay. I can do some pull-ups. But I get a couple in and I'm like, man, my hands are killing me. And he goes, grip strength, bro. You got it all comes back to, and pinky strong. I'm like, man, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I got to work on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you work out at peak, I guess.
I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hayden.
Actually, I go to the Post Falls one.
The new one
equidistance.
or
Yeah, the new one.
cool.
Yeah. But I actually think I like the Hayden one better. They're both good. Yeah. The Coeur d'Alene one's kind of messy.
Yeah, I've only been there once.
Yeah. It's disheveled and broken up weird and
Old.
funky. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, grip strength. Yeah. Rock climbing. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like mountain biking.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, as you know, when you become a dad, you start doing things that the kids can do.
Yeah.
So, until we get her on a mountain bike, I'm kind of putting that on the side.
Yeah.
On the side for now.
You'll have to circle back with Emily because Emily and her husband Keaton love mountain biking.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll reach out to them.
Put a little earmark on that for
Cool
reference point.
Yeah. I ride my mountain bike to work sometimes.
Oh,
so,
cool. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
It takes me 4 minutes in a car and 4 minutes on the bike.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summertime, it's nice to just.
I'm a little jealous. I would totally bike everywhere, but trying to go to Valley on a bike would be hour and a half.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
Doable, but long day.
Long day.
And tired.
Yeah. Okay. So any other activities? Sports?
We just like going to the beach, like Honeysuckle or
Honeysuckle's great.
Yeah. Sanders Beach.
Yeah.
We have a family friend that's got a place on Coeur d'Alene, so we'll go boating once in a while.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's your daughter's name?
Della.
Della?
Mm-hmm.
Della?
Yep.
Cool. Is it short for anything?
Nope. Just a family name on my wife's side.
Oh, very pretty.
Yeah.
Middle name?
Sue.
Oh, yeah. Oh. So 4 kids. I have 3 boys, and then we got our little girl. She's 3.5.
Cool.
Her birthday's, oh, I can't forget this, June 27th. She was going to be a 4th of July baby. I was really excited, but she came early. And she is Milena Sue Marie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's Sue. It's really fun because I don't know about you, but and she has, so Milena is like a combination of family names and weird. It's a weird name. It's pretty, but it's weird. So she gets called Mel, and then the less she listens, it's Milena Sue Marie, right? Like you keep adding names as you go. When she could start talking, she self-identified as Susu. So we call her Sue. I mean, that's yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But
and then someday she's gonna hate that probably.
She might, but now she's stuck. It's like right. She's gonna be a teenager and tell everybody it's Mel or Lainey or I mean, she's got so many choices in there.
Yeah.
But little girls are the best.
So fun.
They're so fun.
It's funny because ours is due. We have another one coming.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
July 8th.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If we're a little early, then it'll be a 4th of July baby.
Yeah. Well, and how was the naming process? You said that was Della's from your wife's side.
Yeah.
Was that just you knew, or was there like a list?
So we didn't find out the gender on that one.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, that's brave too.
So we had a girl name picked out, but not a boy name.
Okay. Yeah.
And so like literally we're going to the hospital in labor and only had a girl name picked out. And it happened to be a girl. So,
yeah. Boy, I don't know.
But no, we had it picked out. We were set in that one.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you playing around with girl names now? Do you know?
Oh, we're having a boy.
Oh, you're having a boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just assumed you were having another girl. So same thing. Do you have a list, or do you already have a name
picked out?
Yeah. Okay.
Walter.
Oh, cool. Family name?
Nope.
No, just Walter.
Walter Watts.
Walter Watts. I love the alliteration. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Yeah. We're excited.
Oh, man. Are you done after 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did your wife come from a big family?
She was the youngest of 3.
Okay.
Her 2 older siblings are, they're only a year apart, but she's like 5 or 6 years apart from them or something.
Oh, yeah.
So she felt like an only child.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, and maybe that's a good transition point. Tell me about your wife. How'd you guys meet? Why do you love her?
Oh, man. That's a story in itself.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we were both part of IDFY. Do you know what that is?
No.
IDFY. It's a Idaho Drug-Free Youth.
Oh.
It's a high school program.
Yeah. On the west side, we had the DARE program.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
So my school had IDFY, and so did Coeur d'Alene, where she went.
Yeah.
And
so she's from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so IDFY was putting on a summer camp at Camp Luther Haven on Coeur d'Alene Lake.
Yeah.
And so that's where we met.
How old were you guys?
I was
at
a
that
sophomore.
point?
She was a freshman.
Okay.
think.
All right.
Yeah. So she came up to me randomly and was like, "Hey, will you take a picture of me and my friend?"
Uh-huh.
And then it was just like instantly clicked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then we just hung out for like the entire camp after that. And then we started becoming pen pals. We were writing each other letters.
Cool. Like actual hard copy letters.
Yeah. In 2010.
You're not like doing messenger back and forth.
No.
Or what was that back in the day?
Or what,
yeah. One of those. Pen pals.
Pen pals. Yeah.
Cool.
So like 1 to 3 page long letters back and forth. And that went on for like 6 months to a year. And then she ghosted me. She got a boyfriend.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be writing letters to boys when you got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
do you still
give
her a hard time about that, or have you forgiven her?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
So lots of time went by. I dated a little bit here and there, and always just like, I wouldn't say compared, but it was like, gosh, no one's like her, you know?
Yeah. Well, and what did you like about her at that point? Like, what was the connection?
She just made me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like so I got braces my senior year. And before braces, I had some crooked teeth.
Yeah.
And so, like when I met her, and so she, asked me why I wasn't smiling, and I told her why, and she was like, "Oh, let me see." And it's like, "What are you talking about?" And just all,
that's so sweet.
yeah, cuteness.
Yeah, it is cute. I love it.
And then that was 2010. So then we were doing home security in Seattle. It was the last summer that I was doing home security for the company that I was working for.
Yeah.
And then she just like randomly hit me up on Facebook one day. And then it turned into like we were talking every day for like 4 hours at a time.
Didn't have to wait for a letter in the mail.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way she found me is she broke up with her boyfriend and then thought about me when she was cooking mac and cheese or something. And then like didn't know how to get a hold of me, couldn't remember my name because 7 or 8 years had passed.
Right. Yeah.
And remembered that we got like this yearbook thing from the camp that we went to.
Yeah.
And so went downstairs and tried to find it and found it, and then was like flipping through, all the names of the attendees at the camp. And I'm on the last page because it's Wyatt Watts. I'm like the last person on it.
Yeah.
So she finally gets to the very last page, and
she's like almost losing hope, and then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finds me on Facebook.
Cool.
And then reaches out. Yeah. And then what's even crazier is I was like, "Oh, what happened to the letters?"
I was just going to ask, do you guys still have any of the letters?
No, because I kept them for so long, and then I was just like, this is going to be weird if I have a girlfriend and then she finds these.
She's like, "Why do you have these?"
So I threw them away, which I kicked myself for.
Yeah.
But she forgot that we did that.
Oh.
And then her mom is going through her Rolodex because they still have like an address book thing.
Yeah.
And finds an old, like, she tore off an envelope with our address on it.
Oh, cool.
And it said Wyatt and our old home address and everything. And I was like, see?
Yeah. So at least there's a remnant. You still had something.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Funny.
So you guys reconnect on Facebook, and this is post you being in Phoenix, right? So you're up in Boise?
No, this is before Phoenix. So
before Phoenix.
Yeah. So we were in Seattle, and then we quit my brother and I quit working for that company at the same time to start our own thing.
Yep.
He owned a house down in Phoenix.
Yep.
And so I came over here after that summer to visit her and like see if this is the real deal or
see
not.
If it's a thing.
And then spent about a week over here in Coeur d'Alene, and then went back to Phoenix for the winter time.
Yep.
We flew back and forth a little bit to see each other, and then we went to California. My brother and I went to California for the summer to do our own door-to-door sales. So it was about a year and a half ish of long distance.
Yeah.
And then after we quit the business, I moved. She took like a student teaching thing down in Boise.
Yeah.
That I talked her into because her brother's there, and I'm like, Boise's awesome. You got to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And she just went through this breakup and just didn't want to see people around town.
Right.
Either.
Makes sense.
I was like, just get out of there. Even if it's a year or two, like just go see something new.
Spread your wings, do something else. And it's close to me.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of like landed in Salt Lake, and then we were able to see each other like all the time.
Yeah.
It's only 4 hours.
Yeah. That's not bad.
And then when we finally shut the doors, I just moved in with her.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how long after that point? Well, before I ask that question, so Rachel and I didn't even know like she existed. I was always over at her family's place because I was best friends with her brother.
Oh, wow.
And like didn't know he had older sisters because I'm playing Halo. I'm in his room playing Halo. They've got 40 acres. No idea. And then I'd broken up with my girlfriend. Rachel broke up with her boyfriend, but I was still going to prom with my ex-girlfriend. And Rachel had asked another guy to go to prom with her, but she didn't have a group. So she knew me through her brother, reaches out to me. We spend all of prom together instead of with our dates. Then we decide to date. And like we decide to date, and the next day I move 2 hours away. And so
away from her?
Away from her.
Oh,
yeah. And like we knew, like, are we going to want to do this because I'm about to move? And we said yes. But then it's 2 hours, right? So it's pseudo long distance. It's nothing compared to you guys. But I think the long distance, like initial step in a relationship is so interesting because instead of it being like strictly a physical thing that attracts the two of you, or just because it is proximity or whatever that thing is, like one, you really are truly choosing to be with each other at that point.
Yeah.
And it gives you more of a, like an intellectual, at least for Rachel and I, there was definitely more of an intellectual part of the relationship that's carried over 20 years later. Has that, what made it stick for a year and a half? Because that's tough. It is tough to have a long distance relationship.
I always knew that I wanted to be with her.
Yeah.
And so there's that aspect.
Yeah.
And so now that she finally come back to me, I was like,
aha.
Honestly, I think just like being as straight up with each other as possible.
Yeah.
And whether you're long distance or not, like you're still talking about things and moving through a lot of the same things together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think it would have been a little more difficult to do the entire initial phase of our relationship in person.
Yeah.
I think giving that distance really allows you guys, each other, to like figure out, okay, when we see each other, what do we like to do together?
Yeah. You're
Because
much more
we're, like,
intentional.
Yeah. Super intentional.
Yeah.
And then when you're not with each other, what are the things that you're doing to improve your life so that when you do come together, you're like bringing something better to the table?
Yeah.
And it gives you that separation of like, I'm going to go conquer, you're going to go conquer, and then we're going to meet in the middle.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a very good point. Well, because it's so easy, again, right? Proximity, all those other things, that you almost become almost too intertwined, too intertangled with each other. And where do you begin? Where do you end? Where does the other person be, right? Like you kind of do everything together. And it's kind of easy to mask strengths and weaknesses and become overdependent. Where when you do have that, because ultimately a couple is still two autonomous individuals,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you got your own thing going on. You need to continue growing. You need to be you. And so that's kind of a cool point that you're intentional when you're together, and then when you're separate, you're still going out conquering your world.
And I think when you do finally decide to move in together, you have just a much deeper understanding of what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
How that's going to affect each other. Like you can actually like come at it with a plan.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did. And yeah, it kind of sucked in the beginning, getting to, having to figure out how each other does things.
Right. There's still, like, I usually do the dishes
trip is no
this
big
time.
deal.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is how I like to do the laundry.
Or just like alone time.
Oh, or alone time. Yeah.
Having a month of alone time to
hardly being able to find
there.
Yeah. Well, and so that's a question. What was the hardest part about coming together? Was it that? Not
probably that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and that's still a thing. Like,
yeah.
I'm at work all day in front of people, and then I go home and I'm with my wife and kid. So it's still a thing to like try to get
your alone time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've just accepted that that's my life with a wife and a family and everything. Now it's like, oh, my alone time is with my family most of the time. I still need like me time, but it's not as much as I thought I did.
Yeah. It's funny how that changes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So then you guys have been married now for how many years?
5, coming up on 5 years. So
cool.
4.5.
Nice.
4 3/4.
And then been together for, what would that be? 6? Plus some pen paling?
8.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that.
2017.
And are you guys still in, because you said you came up and bought her grandparents' place?
Yeah.
Is that where you're still at?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Nice.
We moved in with her parents for about 9 months.
Yeah.
And while they were trying to find a place for grandma to move.
Yep.
Like assisted living. And so, yeah, once they got that figured out, it was like grandma's out, we're in there doing the remodel.
Yeah.
So, and we had a baby on the way.
Yeah.
So we had,
Well, at least you knew a guy to help on the remodel piece.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I took 8 weeks off.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it was more like 10. Took 8 weeks off and got the remodel done, got the whole demo done, remodeled the house, and then moved in. And then like 2 weeks later, baby came.
Yeah.
So it was crunch time.
Yeah, it was. Holy cows. I'm pretty sure we induced my wife on accident.
Oh.
Because, right, you have something like that and there's stress and all the crazy. And with our with my third son, we were getting the house ready for appraisal. And so we were deep cleaning and doing all sorts of projects. And right, it's like the whole, you take a car in and they say, the value of your car doesn't change if your car's clean or not. Oh, it absolutely 100% matters. You want that car waxed and clean inside and shining and looking like it's ready for the showroom. You're going to get a different value than if you roll in with a bunch of garbage in the back and it's dusty and all the other stuff. So same exact thing with a house. Somebody's coming into appraise. Like, I get that you've got market comps and all the other things, but a nice clean house is going to make a difference. Anyways, so she's on her hands and knees, scrubbing the tub, getting the place ready. And next thing you know, she's in labor. And I'm like, we're 2 weeks early.
Oh,
it's because you were working too hard and stressing. Oops. Sorry.
Your daughter was 2 weeks too, right?
Yeah. Our first one was on his due date and her water broke, which I think there's technically like a 20% chance of either one of those things happening. So both of them happening together was like never happens.
Wow.
Second one was a week early. And then the next two were both 2 weeks early, week and a half. They were all early after that. Once you have, so be forewarned. You said July 9th? 8th. It's coming earlier.
Yeah. Our first one was, I think, a week.
Yeah.
Early. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we might have a 4th of July baby.
You might have a 4th of July baby.
Maybe like July 1st.
Yeah. Yeah. I babies are the best. I'm so excited you're having your second one. Yeah.
Are you guys done?
I think man, the number of times we've had this conversation. I think the definitive answer is yes, I think, which doesn't make it definitive.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But no, we went to Hawaii in July and like we redid our vows and it was magic and it was just the two of us. And we kind of decided that we were going to have another one. And we tried for like a month or two. And then we're like, that was fun. Never mind. and then it's kind of been back and forth where she's wanted it and I haven't, and then I've wanted it and she hasn't. And I'm like, okay, are we like, can we just pull the plug if we aren't? Because, so I've said this on the podcast a couple times, like, this is my happy place. I could hold a baby for the rest of my life. Like, when I retire, I'm going to be in the hospital rocking babies. I love the baby smell. I love holding them. They're adorable. I love babies. Getting them in that little tight baby burrito and getting their I love it. But then she goes, you don't have to get up with them and feed them.
Yeah.
You don't have to like go crazy and postpartum and then you got diapers. And right. So it's like babies are a lot of work. And we're getting old. I just turned 38. She's 30. She just turned 39. And so, like, if we're going to do it, we have to do it now.
Yeah.
Has that light been off the entire time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on 2 seconds. I'm like, wow, it's getting really dark in here. How did that happen? Well, okay. Hi, everybody on the podcast. Now you can see our pretty faces. See, technical difficulties. I need like an assistant or something.
You need a SOP checklist.
Do you know somebody that can help me with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do actually. Oh man. Okay. So many other like subsets in here. One of the beautiful things that I've gotten from this conversation is it feels like you're very family oriented. You've had both your immediate family now between your wife and your daughter and baby on the way. And growing up, it feels like you had good family situation.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
And I mean, still doing business with your brother, dad. So like all the way around, relationships pretty good. Nothing.
Yeah, there's
nothing
always
too
ups
crazy.
and downs, but
Well, yeah. I mean, relative.
The line is
The line is that's good.
Mostly good. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that. And so raised nuclear family, religion.
I grew up Christian.
Okay, non-denominational or specific sect? Baptist, Methodist, Baptist. Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
It's been a while.
It's been okay. So the reason I always like asking this question, and one I haven't actually touched on a lot, is politics. So we can go wherever you want on that. I guess I didn't set you up there. We can go as wide or narrow, as deep or shallow on any subject as you want. Because the last thing I want is controversy and you to be like, I can't put this out because people are going to be like, oh, Wyatt feels like that. But all those things shape the way that we do life, right?
Yeah.
And religion is one of the, right? It's one of those taboo subjects you aren't supposed to talk about. But man, that answers so many questions about this whole thing. Because one of the things I always think is fascinating is we scientifically like really don't have an answer for consciousness. Like how does this whole, how do we do this?
Right.
Is it the Matrix? Is it God? Is it, are you like just on an acid trip right now? And we all are, and we all have no idea, right? Like the pineal gland produces DMT, right? Yeah. Which you talk to somebody that's gone on DMT trips and they like, right? Like this whole thing is crazy. Reality is crazy. Yeah. So kind of alters how we all do things. So were you guys every Sunday Baptist?
Yeah, when I was growing up, we were 90% of the year we would probably go to church.
So not a Christmas, Easter. There's a term for that I got to figure out one of these days. But you guys were regular church goers.
Yeah, I was in like a Wednesday night thing,
youth group.
Yeah.
I
can't remember when or why we stopped going.
Okay, but while you were at home, that stopped at some point. That wasn't when you left home.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was like before my parents would like tell me like, this is why we're not going to church.
Right.
I think it had to do with some drama between people in the church.
Yeah. That's usually a good cause of it. Yeah.
So my parents were just like sick and tired of trying to find a church that they could fit into. Yeah. With 5 kids and everything. And just like said, you know what, we're just going to do our own thing. Yeah. So we still prayed at the dinner table and, you know, had good values and everything, but just stopped going to church.
Right. Yeah.
And I was probably 10 or 12.
Okay. Yep. Well, and isn't that funny, especially, right? Raising your daughter and soon to be son. We left our religion of the majority of our life a couple of years ago. And that was one of my first, like, okay, if we're leaving this sense of morality, values, this is the framework that I know. How can I still instill this into my children? Yeah. But you had experience having it for half of your childhood and then not. And so, like, clearly after leaving that church, still had values, still had morals. Right. How did it shape you initially, and how did that change, and what has religion been like since?
How did it shape me? I'm not sure. It certainly had an effect on me, I'm sure. Right. But I don't know. I don't know if I can like put a
button on it.
Yeah. If anything, it allowed me to like start questioning things more. Oh, yeah. It gave me the tools of like, well, if we're not going to church, why? Yeah. Or like, you know, this person at school said this, so that's contradictory to what this is. And I would, you know, in my past or like, you know, a couple of years ago when I was younger, I would just like dismiss all of that. But now I think that there might be some truth to it, you know? Yeah. So I would say that like not going to church just invited a different worldview. Yeah. And man, I really don't care what people believe in. Yeah. I think if you're a good human, you're going to be fine. Right. And
Isn't that amazing?
like all the different religions in the world, they all have very similar things, like principles.
Right.
So it's like, how did Buddha and Christianity and all these different things have the same messaging, just in a different language, said in a different kind of slightly different words?
Right. That probably fits their culture.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's something beyond religion.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're alone in the space out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like there's probably multiple other of these going on out there, circling around a sun in a giant galaxy. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it would be kind of weird and scary and sad if we're it.
Yeah.
Life had to have figured out a way and there's billions and billions of stars out there.
And galaxies.
Like,
it's insane.
Yeah,
So
we can't fathom it.
we don't even have the technology to see through all that and to be able to look and know what's on all those other planets and stars and everything.
Right.
So
that's right. It almost feels like one question leads to another, right? So do you believe that there's life outside of the planet Earth? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So then if that's a yes, the next thing is, did it all happen by accident, or is there some kind of intelligent design regardless of what version of God that is? So maybe that is the next. What is there? Is there something greater that's directing things, or is it more of the Big Bang evolutionary? And to me personally, I think they both exist at the same time. But curious.
Where did the Big Bang come from?
Right. right. Exactly. Right. But then the opposite question exists too of God. Where did God start?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, they happened at the same time, or like, I don't know.
And then are we
me.
going to find out when we die?
Yeah. Okay. So that's another good question. So, what happened?
Or are we just here and then we're dead and then we'll never know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. Well, it's funny because I came from Mormonism, and that has a pretty clear, this is where you came from. This is why you're here. This is where you're going.
Yeah.
And they call it the shelf, where you just kind of keep putting things on that shelf of, this doesn't make any sense, but I don't have a good answer yet. So I'm just going to place this over here until I figure something else out.
Like the parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it got to a point where my shelf was full. And so I have a lot of self-reflection on these areas, because I go, okay, do I believe this because of that influence? Do I believe this because I think that principle of questioning everything is really important? Does it even matter? Because that's another thing that I think I come back to a lot, is just need to be present. What's coming in the future is gonna come, no matter how much you try and anxiety over it and freak out over it and control it and all the other stuff. It's gonna play out however it's gonna play out anyways. So be present. Whether there is life after this, no life after this, reincarnation after this, heaven after this, hell after this, whatever the after this is, does it actually matter?
Am I going to participate in that?
Am I gonna So maybe this is a good reflection for me. Maybe I care too much. but I think part of the reason that I care and why I like to ask everybody those questions is because for some people, that is life or death. They stake their identity on all of it. Or the flip side, where it's like, it could be any of those. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I've met good and bad people on all the spectrums.
Yes.
So you can't tell me that you have to do this to be a good person.
Right.
Like that. Some of the best people I know are just completely pragmatic.
Yeah.
And they just treat people amazing. They give to causes that they believe in.
Yeah.
They run great companies. So
right.
Yeah. To put someone in a box is like, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like it. Okay. So then I am going to ask the next taboo question. Before I ask the next taboo question, anything in that realm that you want to cover, speak on, or reflect on?
I just, as far as religion goes, I think that I I believe that what you put out into the universe,
Yeah.
you're going to get back in return.
Yeah.
And so if you're putting bad things out, you're going to get more bad things in
Yeah.
return. And what comes back is an amplified version of what you put out.
Yeah.
So I'm just constantly trying to put great things out.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's just going to compound in my favor in the future.
Yeah. That's such a good way of looking at it. I love that way of looking at it.
And that's my religion.
And that's your religion.
Just doing more good things.
Yeah. It amplifies out.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is, what is that? Like a combination of karma / the butterfly effect / something else in there. Yeah, but that is a good policy. Well, what was that movie? Pay It Forward?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Do a good act. You never know how much that's just going to keep going out. And then it's going to amplify its way back to you.
Yeah.
Well, and I, everybody that's listening, I know you've heard this every podcast. I'm going to bring it up again. Energy is information that vibrates. That's my favorite definition of energy. And especially, right, I told you I have drums. I'm all about everything to me comes back to sound and music and vibration and all that fun jazz. And so that makes sense, right? When you strike that chord, the idea of it getting amplified and you're just going to have it feed right back. That's, yeah. I mean, shoot, that's what we're doing right now, right? And we sound so good in these headphones and we're speaking into these mics and hopefully you have a very nice voice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
That's probably a weird compliment that you haven't gotten very many times, but your voice is lovely. And it's nice hearing it amplified in my ears. you go home for your wife. Yeah, that podcast was good, but he gave me a really weird compliment.
Yeah, I'm never doing that one again.
Okay, that's good. I'm so glad that I asked. We circled back on that because that is that's a beautiful way to do life.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so then I take it. I mean, that almost could be your politics too. Then. Just flip and do good. Try not to overcomplicate it.
I really don't have a lot of time to
worry
dive
about
into politics.
Yeah, no.
I might get involved locally someday.
Yeah,
when things get more automated and involve less of my time.
Yeah, yep.
On the business side and family side and whatnot. But
yeah,
I just can't take on more information right now. I'm in the implementation phase, and yes, all of the politics affect to a certain degree,
right?
But at the end of the day, it's going to happen whether it's going to happen whether I pay attention to it or not.
Right. That feels like a control what you can control sort of mentality. Right. Because tariffs are a really good example. Okay, so we place tariffs on Canada, and now all of a sudden lumber becomes more expensive, so flooring becomes more expensive. Blah 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 blah. Well, one, if that happens, it's impacting you and your competitors, right?
Right.
And the people that are going to be able to afford and do flooring or any of the work that you do, that's still going to keep going on.
Yep.
And you just got to keep doing good work and building those relationships. And people there are always economic upturns and downturns, and good business people that put good out into the world succeed. And those that are doing a shitty job, that's probably a good time to trim the fat. And when those people see themselves out of those markets.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that going on the past 6 months.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, shoot, the COVID thing, right?
It was a boom.
And again, lumber did, what was the price? The price did something nuts during COVID. I can't remember the exact numbers, but
stuff was like 6-7x what it normally would be.
Yeah. Kind of madness.
It was crazy.
but that's when you built a business.
Yeah.
Right. So why stress over whatever's happened federally or even almost on a state basis, but locally, I like that you said that maybe you'd be great. You have my vote, by the way.
Oh, for what?
Whenever locally you decide to do something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't know what that is yet. But whatever it is, you want to be a city commissioner, you want to be the mayor, you want to be a city council member.
Cool.
You have one.
I know nothing about politics,
which would make you
politics.
Perfect for politics. The people that want to be a politician, those are the people that scare me. Those are the people that have no business being politicians.
What what the at the federal level, what Trump and Elon and that whole thing is doing.
Yeah.
You're taking a business approach to the government, the
Right.
float of the government,
Right.
and saying where does this make sense? You
Right.
know, they're basically looking at a giant P&L and saying, oh, what's going on here? So I think if you could bring that approach to all the state and local governments, that'd be great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of waste.
So much waste.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just did our annual budget for a nonprofit that I'm on. And they made the banker the treasurer. Shocker. But that's what I was doing. I'm like looking at the past 5, 6, 7 years and averaging it out and going, okay, well, these ones pretty much stay the same every year. We'll still touch on them to see if we can optimize it, right? Clean it up in some way, shape, or form, because just because that's the status quo doesn't mean that's good either. But then there's other items where it's like one year it's $500, the next year it's 5,000. I'm going, what's happening here? So it was kind of nice to go line by line. And because it's new for me, have people that have been involved really explain and justify their position on those things, and then go, cool. So that's a great argument still. Is it totally still justified? Because as the treasurer, especially for a nonprofit, this thing I want it to have staying power.
Yeah.
So that I can have impact on the community. We need to be good stewards of funds that people are donating to us. How can we be most effective with these funds? And I think anybody that I give my money to, nonprofit, government, business, any of those, I mean, once I give it to a business, I got the product, I'm good. But I would hope that anybody that is a steward of any form of money is making sure that it's used wisely.
Yeah. Even on the service side,
Yeah.
we could deliver a crappy service and then you've got to go hire someone else to do the job.
Yeah.
And so we see that a lot. We've taken over a lot of jobs that people got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
pick the wrong guy and turns into something that they, more of a nightmare than a dream.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So are there people being paid within that nonprofit?
I'm going to I get the roles wrong. We do. We have a gal, that's like what's her title? Because we have the board and the executive committee of that. But then we have like Crystal's going to kill me. She's going to listen to this and be like, Brandon, you forgot my title. But she's the one that does the day-to-day, making sure, because it's
office manager kind of person.
Yeah, but she's so much more than that.
Okay.
So we have 70. No, we have more than that. We have like 90 volunteers. What we do is we go around and collect food that's like Costco's going to toss out. That's still edible.
Yeah.
But it's past whatever their shelf standards are, or Arby's or all sorts of places with food. We go pick that up and then we collect it all, package it together, right? So you might get some pizza and some milk and some fruit and veggies, and you get a whole package of things. And then there's something like 40 different food pantries and services that then come collect and distribute it from there.
Cool.
It is. We rescued over 1 million pounds of food last year.
Wow.
And so anyway, to answer your question, she is the full-time paid staff, but then she manages those 90 volunteers because we have drivers and
Holy
packagers
cow.
and all these other things. And so she actually, we've grown enough that we're probably this year we'll probably hire a part-timer, and then next year we'll have 2 part-timers. So we'll have her as the full-time and then 2 more or less assistants to her, because I don't think she sleeps. She is 7 days a week doing something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, but again, making sure, and we actually just gave her a pay bump that the work that she does, she should be paid 3 times what she's getting paid. She is doing it. It's certainly not for the pay. It's out of the goodness of her heart. But that's kind of that hard part with nonprofits of like, but then you look at some of the nonprofits around the world that are just making crazy amounts of money.
90% of the donated funds are going to administrative costs.
Right. So
Yeah.
my third son had cancer.
Oh, wow.
And you end up learning so much about that part of life, obviously going through it. I I really hope I don't offend a lot of people with this. I'll definitely offend some. I would never give to the American Cancer Society.
Yeah.
Right. Because the amount of money that just goes toward, does that actually go towards care and development of care and all those things? How much of it goes to their executive board and the other like admin costs that they just, it's stupid. I also talked to an attorney that he does like lawsuits and stuff worldwide. He was just at The Hague, which I'm like, that's crazy. But he works for a law firm in New York, but he does it here in Spokane. He's Haitian. And he's suing Red Cross because the money that was donated for Haiti to Red Cross, like none of it made it to Haiti. They were supposed to build hospitals with it and do all sorts of stuff. Not one hospital got built. And it's just, that's the sort of thing that I go, again, right? Like, where's my money going?
Yeah.
I want to make
it's much better just like putting your money, like helping your neighbor.
Right. As directly to the source as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't give it to them. It's just like helping a homeless person. Don't give them cash.
Right.
Pay for food.
Yeah, go get some food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what they're going to do with the cash.
Of course they are.
And that's what a lot of nonprofits do.
Unfortunately.
And governments.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, shoot, with, what's the name of the new business? Apex?
Yeah.
Might need
Apex
to pair you,
Collaborative Solutions.
might need to pair you up with Elon.
Maybe.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. That dude knows about efficiency.
Yeah, well, yeah. What did he do? He fired something like 80%, 90% of Twitter's staff when he bought it. Oh, man.
Love it.
Brilliant. Yeah. I don't like when people get like, I understand everybody's got to make a living, but if your role really isn't necessary, then what are we doing?
Yeah. And those that make the cut, they are taking it serious.
Yes.
They're like, I made it. What do I need to do to not get cut on the second round?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, and really, again, right point of this podcast, everybody has gifts. Everybody has something that they can contribute. And it's almost a good thing when you get kicked out of that comfort zone, which is what that is.
Yep.
Because if it gets you to go realize your dream, your goal, the thing that you can be contributing, all the better.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm like, once I quit my job, I've just been living in that comfort zone, or like that, not in that comfort zone.
Right.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like constant back up against the wall. Like I got to make something happen.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah.
But it's fun too, because I'm going all in on myself.
Yes.
And I don't invest a lot in the stock market or anything like that.
You don't have a lot of crypto on the side?
No, I have a little bit.
Okay. All right.
But nothing crazy. Like my philosophy right now, while I'm young, is be risk on and on myself.
Yes.
Because I am the most risky and the most controlled risk.
Yes.
So why not?
Absolutely.
And you know, I've kind of proven to myself what I'm capable of. And I've hired an amazing business coach in the past couple months.
Oh, cool.
And he's really helping me double down on the things I'm good at.
Amazing how much that helps,
like
isn't
mindset
it?
Work and all those things. Plus he's a wizard with business too.
Yeah.
So,
and if you want, my father-in-law always said, if you want to make over $100,000, why are you listening to somebody making less than that?
Yeah.
Right. It's the Anthony effect. It was Anthony, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's the who has been somewhere where I want to go. I need to go learn from them.
Yep.
And then once I've gotten to their level, go find the next coach, go find the next example that can get me to the next level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Cool. I maybe offline, I have some questions about your business coach.
Okay.
I'm curious.
Okay.
Curious if I know him. Unless you want to blast him right here. That could be good too. He might appreciate a shout out. Depends on how much you like him.
He doesn't. No, I like him a lot.
Okay.
He only works off referrals.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I don't know if he really wants to be platformed.
Yeah, he's going to get bombarded. Okay. We won't platform him. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he approves, then maybe we can drop his name in the link.
Link. Yeah, we'll absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, any areas of what makes Wyatt that we haven't touched on that you want to explore?
Nothing's coming to mind.
Okay. So
what questions do you have?
So then I have two questions.
Okay.
First question is, because I don't know that we've touched on anything too crazy yet. And it's actually, I mean, it'd be a blessing if there isn't anything crazy, but we all have some, I mean, you had going to Nashville and that, right? That was a hardship that shaped the way that you do you. What's the hardest thing, the biggest trauma, the thing that really tried you in your life?
I think I was bullied a little bit, like through middle school,
Yeah.
and that led to like me getting in some fights to
Oh,
stick
yeah.
up for myself.
Yeah.
And that I ended up getting into a not so good fight, and did more damage than I would have liked to the other person.
Yeah.
And I, just having that experience of like knowing what I did to someone else, and at the same time knowing that person's never going to come after me again. They're fine and everything. They just we have restraining orders and everything. But it was like a long time ago.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I just asked him about this and he made somebody a vegetable. Holy crap.
No.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, that was just a humbling experience for, I think, both of us involved.
Yeah.
Probably for the bullier and the bullied, because once I realized, like, go through the whole court process and everything and blah, blah, blah. It was kind of a messy thing, but it's like, I don't ever want to feel like that again, you know? And why did I let that guy crawl under my skin so much?
Right.
Like, why did I even care?
Yeah.
So I think that like I got pushed to the tipping point so hard, and I felt like I had to do something about it. So I did, and it was the wrong decision, but it also taught me a lot in having compassion for somebody that's acting that way rather than, resentment.
Yeah.
So
well, and it feels like that probably ties directly into the religion of Wyatt of put good out or bad, but you're going to get that amplified back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's great, because it kind of makes you think, like, what was I doing to attract that behavior towards me at that time?
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting angle too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could go on and on about that.
On and on. Yeah.
So yeah, after that happened, I just started, it was embarrassing for me because, the whole town's talking and blah, blah, blah. And,
I can only imagine the stress and embarrassment and
on family and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was more of like, how do I just not have this ever happen again?
Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
What could I have done differently if this situation presents itself again? How do I seek understanding? How do I, right?
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of different lessons in there.
And since that day, that was like in 2011 or something, I've only ever been in a physical altercation one other time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was not anything that I
you didn't antagonize that into being.
Yeah. We were just like cruising on a boardwalk in San Diego, and these two dudes were fighting. and my little brother, we're on those like Lime scooters.
Yeah,
and
those are great.
Me and my little brother are cruising by, and my little brother's like, we look over at the guys fighting, and we're like, and he goes, guys, chill. And we keep riding, and they must have been like Olympic athletes or something. We're going 17 miles an hour, and the one kid, they stopped fighting each other, and they both chased us down.
Oh no! Oh no!
So they caught up to us right in front of a restaurant.
Yeah,
and so they took us down off the scooters and like got a couple punches in, but then like everybody came out and like
broke it up.
Yeah. Like,
oh no,
wasn't even my fault.
That's so innocent. You're just the wingman that got swept into it. Oh no.
And my little brother's like, guys, just chill.
So
that
innocent.
tipped him off enough.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Yeah. I'm not a fighter either. I'm definitely way more of a lover. I got into 2 fights when I was a kid. One, bully on the bus, got off the bus. I threw one punch, gave him a bloody nose. He ran off. I'm going to tell my grandma. Last I ever heard of any of it. And another time we had a fort in the woods in an apartment complex that we lived in. And there was an older kid up in the tower throwing rocks at us. I grabbed a rock. Then we were all throwing rocks back at him. And mine just so happened to hit him in the face.
Oh,
but like big old goose egg. I'm going to go tell my parents. And I'm like, I didn't get into trouble. I was a relatively good kid. And my dad took me back to that kid's apartment. We had to apologize. I felt like just the worst. So, but right. Cause I think that's what confuses me about humanity is I've always felt really guilty when I hurt somebody, whether it is physical, right. In like those 2 instances, or I'm like an emotional, like if somebody's doing something embarrassing, I almost get emotional for them and cry for them. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like man, I just want
to like leave the room.
Right. It's so uncomfortable. I just want like love and puppies and like, can we all just get along?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Yeah. So I'm confused when there's people that almost thrive on that drama and that violence. Like, how can you hurting other people? Why? What switches off in your brain? I don't get it.
Yeah. Unless it's like a sport where that's involved.
Sport, yeah. I've definitely hurt people in sports, but that's sports. Yeah. I used to have a basketball that said no blood, no foul. That would like
nice.
Rules of the game, no blood, no foul. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. I think you kind of have to have a little bit of psychopath in you to enjoy that. Like hurting other people.
I think so.
For no good reason kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or even just any kind of retaliation.
Yeah.
If it involves hurting people emotionally or physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think I would get tested if something happened to one of my kids. Somebody messed with my daughter.
Totally.
Oh. Yeah, there's a different side of me that would come out for sure.
I mean, even just like the playground. So a kid pushes my daughter. I'm like, the dad, like, oh, wait, well, okay, chill. Yeah. He's 3.
Yeah, we can give the 3-year-old a pass, I guess.
Yeah.
Just don't do it again.
But that makes you think.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, yeah. And but
it's controlled.
It's controlled. And there is that protection mechanism. I think that's much different than hurting people for the pleasure of.
Yeah.
Right.
There's always going to be regret if you cross that line.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if it's, some of the worst guilt that I felt is just something that I said.
Yeah, isn't that
and
crazy?
And I'm like, oh my God. And I dwell on it for like a week until finally it just like simmers away. And it could just be the dumbest, stupid thing that just happens to fly out of my mouth. And I'm just like, why did I say that?
Yeah.
And then I just feel like an idiot for
for right,
days.
Replaying it and trying to go back and what would I have done differently?
Like I totally didn't read the room there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a feel for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's gotten me to a good place too, because I definitely, I've been there. Of we all say stupid stuff at some point. And I think again, most people understand that. And so I usually try and make amends in some way, shape, or form. Right. Because ultimately that's hey, I really didn't mean it. Right, XYZ, whatever the things are. But here's how I really do feel. You can hate me for the rest of your life, but I just wanted you to hear from me. This is how I truly feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Right.
I should do that.
I like the simmering and let it go away though too. That one's good. I've definitely done that too. So I don't know which one's the right answer. They're both the right answer.
Yeah. And it sucks when it's like a whole room of people and
well, and a mea culpa, and right. Now I'm gonna like watch. You're gonna do something at EBC, You're gonna be like,
Maybe.
yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Wyatt, you did that thing.
Well, and that's one of my favorite quotes is other people's opinions about you are none of your business. Right? Because it's a perception thing. You have no idea what's going on in their lives. You don't know if you just knocked on the door when the baby's crying and you woke up their napping baby or whatever the thing is. Like, you don't know. And it's more of a reflection on them than it is on you.
Yeah. If you give that any weight, then you have your own issues that you're dealing with.
Right.
And that takes a long time to figure out as a human. Like, oh, that's actually not my problem.
Right.
And I'm not going to let it affect my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is some
That's
people.
a level up right there.
That is a level up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, then my favorite question, my last question. If you had a megaphone that could reach everybody on the planet, what's the message?
Be a good person.
Be a good person.
Cliche.
Oh, it's so good. You know what? Nobody has said that.
Really?
Every answer is different.
Yeah. If we had more of that, we'd have a better world.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Wyatt, this has been an absolute treat. Thank you for coming on and letting me and the listeners get to know you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.